What's up guys, welcome to the Loadout Room. Today we're going to do a quick review on the ASP XT DF Flashlight. So ASP marks this as a primary flashlight, meaning if you are in law enforcement you can use it as your primary, it has the power to do so. Or if you're a civilian and you want just a solid light, something that is going to give a good output, then this is a good light for that. It has a maximum output of 600 lumens and it is programmable. So I like the light personally. I like smaller lights. I did not start my career using the big massive mag light that a lot of cops use. So me personally, I'm used to using a smaller light. I don't need to compensate for anything with a big light. So I like that it's functional, I can put it away, it's not heavy and clunky, I don't need to use it as an impact weapon. So I personally don't mind the smaller lights. I can still do everything I need to do if I want to tuck it under my arm and work with my hands, if I'm doing paperwork or I'm talking to somebody, whatever the case may be. There's a pin clip on it, so I could throw it in a lapel if I wanted to, throw it in my pocket. I personally have the light carrier that ASP makes to put this in, so I take the pin clip off, but I wanted you guys to check it out. But the DF stands for dual fuel, so there are two battery sources. There's a rechargeable battery, and then you can use the CR123A batteries in the battery cell should you choose to do so. It's great because we all know that lights go out. You know, you might think it was properly charged and it's not. Now all of a sudden you're in the middle of your shift and the light goes out and you need another battery source. Well, instead of waiting for this one to recharge, then you can use the CR123A. So that's also a cool feature. It's pretty sturdy, made from T6 aluminum, aerospace aluminum. So drop it on the ground, ding it up, it's not gonna destroy it. It has a little foam grip right here, vinyl foam grip for comfort, similar to the ASP batons. So it's just very similar to that. It feels just like that, so I like it. I'm gonna bring it up closer to the camera so we can look at some of the details. So there are a couple of modes here. You can have it on constant on, so when you click it, the light stays on, just like that. I'm not holding the end cap, I just clicked it, pushed it in, and it keeps it on. I can switch it to, you can see right here, that's the constant on. I can switch it to the intermittent, constant on, intermittent. So when I click it, it just, as soon as I release the tail cap, the light goes off, okay? I can also lock it, so if I want to throw it in my pocket, then I can put it in the center here, which is locked, and if I push the tail cap, nothing happens. So if I want to, everybody's had a light in their pocket and been like, oh, my leg's hot, and just cut your lights on. So you can lock it if you want to. The program feature is super easy. All you have to do is untwist the light side of the flashlight, and the flashlight goes straight into program mode. There's a little sensor right here that whenever you open it, it realizes, oh, we're in program mode. There's two ways to program it. First, if you just push the end cap and hold it down, then it will cycle through the lights. So there's a light, a medium, a bright, and a strobe. Whichever light I release it on, I released it on the strobe. When I close, it takes it out of program mode. When I first hit the button, it's going to immediately go to the bright. So ASP, their motto is your first light source should always be your brightest. So they always make their lights where the first time you press the button, it's going to go straight to the bright. So you know that when I double click it, it's going to go to the strobe, which is what I set it on. Of course, if I want to open it up and set it to another mode, say dim there, and close it back down, and I of course bright on the first click, and then double click, it goes to your dim. So the second way to program it is by this little button right here. So if I press the light and then click this button, it takes it through the different modes. So I can leave it on one, just like that. So pretty cool, easy programmable. The charge docking station is the micro USB. If you untwist the light like you would to program it, there it is right there. So you can use any micro USB charger on it. Super easy. No issues with that. I think it's pretty functional. As far as cons go, I know that there's some lights that you can actually program 3 different modes. So you would go bright for one, double click for your second mode, and then if you triple clicked it, it would go to another mode. That's a cool feature to have. So if you want to set a bright, then a dim, and then a strobe, then you can have all 3 programmed on one light. This one doesn't have that. You know, I mean, at any point in your career, you could possibly, on a shift, use 3 different modes of light. So it's definitely a good feature to have, but I don't think it's one that breaks the light. I still like this light a lot, and I actually carry it currently. So it definitely is not one that keeps me from carrying it. The only other thing I have is that some lights have 2 pressure caps. This one has the tail cap. Some lights have one somewhere up on the front. Depending on what method you use to shoot with your flashlight can make or break that for you. So if you use the surefire method, which is drawing your weapon and then keeping the light in your support hand and then pressing it up against the gun to help support the weapon and to keep your light facing forward, you can't really do that with this light because there's no front pressure button to press as you draw and punch out. You could try to do some type of thing where you put it in between your fingers like this, but it's hard to really, it would be hard to draw and get the light to come on. I mean, you really have to manipulate the light, put it in the meat of your hand. So if you use the surefire method when you draw, then that might be that might take it out of as a contender for you. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, if you use the light, like, you know, most people that we see use a light in law enforcement use it like this with the tail cap. And most people carry a weapon mounted light now, so they use the weapon mounted light, or they use some type of different method whenever they're working with their light in their hand. So I only see a certain amount of people draw the surefire method. I like the surefire method, but me personally, I also carry a light on a weapon mounted light on my gun, so it's not doesn't break the light for me. So bottom line, I think they did a good job. It is functional, easy to program, rechargeable, dual fuel. It's got a lot of perks, so I like it. I think they did a good job designing it. I'm gonna throw my GoPro on, take it into our sim house so you guys can kind of see what it's like in a dark element. So let's go. Alright guys, here we go. Got the flashlight we just talked about. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like in a darker element. Here in our sim building, the hallway with a couple of rooms. I'm gonna cut the lights off so you guys can check it out. Pretty good. Pretty bright. That's the dim there. Switch them over real quick so you guys can see. Cycle through, put on strobe. There's the strobe.